Is it me or is it getting cold in here? The radiator's not on. Maybe I'll warm myself up with a nice cup of tea. Ah! Jeez, it's cold! Wait a minute. Water's cold. Radiator's cold. Ah! Even the air is cold. Which means I have to go get him. Well done, buddy. Coming for you. Rocket boosters, away! Jim the fish. Better hurry up in case this place gets cold. Hi, I'm Matthew Huerta and welcome to the Who Reviews. Let's rock. Hi guys, Matthew Huerta here, and as you can see, I'm speaking to you through an audio file. The reason being is because, well, I'm getting close to start getting back into university, and I've got some really important work to do. And I thought the easiest thing for me to do would be to do an audio review with some images and all that, rather than a full proper, video with myself. And at least this way it'll be easier for me having to read what I thought about the episode with the script in front of me, so I wouldn't have to learn it off by heart and you won't have to see me looking down all the time. So anyway, let's kick off the review. This week it's Thin Ice, written by Sarah Darlot, and by God, this episode, because to be honest, for the last two episodes, I wasn't quite sure exactly whether the series 10 was going to be as good as I thought it was. I mean, don't get me wrong, the pilot was a great start. It was a really great starter. I thought it was decent. Smile, on the other hand, I don't know what people actually saw in Smile, but I wasn't quite sure it was that good. I mean, it was decent. It was interesting, but I wasn't quite sure about the execution. And when I get to this episode, I wasn't sure exactly whether this episode was going to be good, but thankfully, after watching this episode, I realise now what it was I love about Doctor Who, and now we've found it, and I'm going to explain to you now. So, as usual, I'm going to give you the good, I'm going to give you the bad, and I'm going to give you the wibbly wobbly timey wimey. So what's the plot? So the episode starts off from where we left off, which I have to admit, I actually like that. It's a nice little throwback to how they used to do the classic episodes by having each episode follow from where we left off. Like the Tomb of the Cybermen left off from the Daleks episode. The Daleks episode left off from the Unearthly Child. You get the idea, and I actually like that they've done that, and I think it's going to be a continuing thing that's going to happen in this series, and I'm glad they've done it. So anyway, I'm off track. The Bill and the Doctor and Bill arrive at an 1814 Victorian London at the Thames. There is also a travelling circus being performed on the frozen water, and of course, as usual, there is something big living underneath the frozen Thames. So first off, the good. One of the things I love about Thin Ice is, well, one of the things I love about Doctor Who is the Victorian episodes. I don't know why, but what it is I love about Victorian episodes, it's the costume, it's the setting, it's the characters, the time of day it is, how people used to live. And what I love about these episodes is how they manage to use historical events to actually fit in with their story, and I actually like they've done that. Peter Capaldi is good as usual, and yes, I do love him in that Victorian outfit, and I really do love that hat. I mean, don't get me wrong, I actually preferred Matt Smith in the Victorian outfit, but looking at Capaldi now, I'm thinking, well, it's not Matt Smith, but I like it. I like it. It's a nice hat, and obviously, if you were to compare this to the William Hartnell outfit, then yeah, that's pretty much what I saw. That's pretty much what I thought about it at the moment. But it's still good, and in my opinion, he looks good in the hat. I like the bit where he gives the little girl money and puts his hat on her head, and that was genuinely sweet. And I'll get back to the girl later. And the dialogue he's given in this episode is nice. I mean, he comments that he's been there before. He's eaten a shrimp. It says it's his favorite. I just chuckled at that. He lets Bill have her fun before he gets to business because as he said, naughty girl, always looking for trouble, which I think is a nice throwback to the Doctor's wife. And of course, one of the things he talks about is how nice he is around the children, and Peter Capaldi is absolutely given his heart and soul in this episode, and I'll explain a bit more about why. But what really got to me is when one of the kids asks, "Where's this kid gone?" the Doctor helps out by giving them some food from his pockets, which is a nice pocket reference. It was very sweet. And then we get the scene where he's reading a story to the kids, and I'm not kidding. Watching this episode, I felt like my heart was getting warmer and warmer, and it was a beautiful scene. And of course, Capaldi gets his funny moments. Like I said, the coin trick. I actually like that he's trying to figure out how did he cheat. Because he's learned. And I caught that little nice reference to the Graham Norton show where he says, "I'm against tattoos." And yeah, if you've seen the Graham Norton show, well, yeah, it's a nice reference there. And whilst Capaldi has his funny moments, he does have his very serious moments, and especially when it comes to the scene where he's talking to Bill and he openly admits to killing people, even though he underplays it, but it's underplayed, but in my opinion it's better that way because it's not really a big deal, because like he said, I did it, yes, I did kill people, but I've moved on. And I think it's a nice moment. And of course, there's the scene where he's talking to Lord Sutcliffe, and I'll get back to him later. He talks to him about the importance of life, about the human progress measured by the value you place on people without privilege. High value is now his value, and which he quotes, "divides the species." First time I watched that bit, I was pretty sure there's going to be a political reference in there. I don't want to give a name out, but I wasn't quite sure about it. But then the more I watched it, I realised it's a reference to the diabolical businessman. This speech he makes refers to Bill, and it shows how much he's lived, in my opinion, how he's lived for his long life and it still feels new to him. But this time, this is probably the best argument against racism in television, and it proves that Doctor Who itself, it can be more than just a scientific story. It can be able to center itself around social issues, and oh god, we'll talk about the racism later. Bill is next up. Bill Mackey is Bill. She's obviously having fun with this episode, and that dress, man, I love that dress. She's getting flyers, she's trying everything out. Get in! Yes, that little reference, which is watching people wrestling at the circus. She was bowling. I thought, oh, did she bowl the pins, or someone else do, or was she about to bowl and then got distracted? And I thought that's a nice little touch. She obviously talks about to the Doctor about, how's that screwdriver? It makes a noise. Do you have magical alien powers? And one of the things I liked about her is I'll talk about the main thing about her, but I actually like that when she's talking to the girl Kitty, and she uses the same words as the Doctor's use, because I'm guessing she doesn't know what to say, but she's following the words of her tutor, and she's saying that to a little kid, and I actually like that. And of course, the one thing that I literally did not see it coming, and I don't know why, I just literally applauded. But it's when someone mentions it, and then Bill goes, "No shit," and it cuts in, and it cuts away, and I just thought, whoa. that was definitely took me back to series 1 when the missile was coming down the Slovenians, and they were going, "Oh, ball," and then boom. Yeah. There were also moments where Pearl Mackie does her role really, really well, and she does show her theatre acting in this episode, especially with the scene with the Doctor and Bill. You know, she starts to doubt about the Doctor with because it's after she's seen a child die in the ice, which I have to admit, it's a reference to Clara in Cold War. Is it starting to be a trend here when you get to the 3rd episode? The companion starts seeing people die. Is that really the trend here? Yeah, but in my opinion, this one was done properly, and her acting was more believable and more realistic and more reliable than Clara was when she was talking to David Warner in the submarine. I mean, it was nice, it was quiet, but this one is done properly. This is what a proper person would act like if he or she saw something like that. And and then she starts questioning the Doctor about seeing people die, killing them, or does he even care? And which also reminds me, there's a moment where when Capaldi mentions it's he says, "What happens if I don't move on? People die." And the moment when he says, "I may be 2,000 years old," and the way he said it was like a proper adult, and that one shot, I could tell that Capaldi really, really, really put his heart into this, and there was a sense of one of the classic doll. I can't exactly say why. I think William Hartnell, Tom Baker, and Paul McGann. No, not Paul McGann. Christopher Eccleston. All those doctors merged together at that one bit. That just pretty much what got me back. There's no pocket jokes. There's no pocket jokes. When they had to get a solid screwdriver out of the way, I was thinking to myself, "Oh man, please don't do this. Don't do this thing when you put your hand in and you say, 'Oh, that's not my screwdriver.'" And thank God they did not do that. Thank God they didn't do that. I have to admit, it was a cool attack. The idea of he activates the screwdriver, the man grabs the screwdriver, and then it gets sucked in the ice. As cool as it was, I have to admit, Bill. That pretty much had Bill actually see the Doctor kill someone, and whether the creature might eat, and obviously we get some reference here, and Bill starts questioning whether it's a good idea to let the creature live or eat all of London, and the Doctor just makes Bill give her the order to save the creature. In my opinion, it's a nice little throwback to the previous episode. I mean, in the previous episode, it was the Doctor's choice to blow it up, but then he changed his mind. Only this time, it's Bill's choice to either kill the beast or save it, and it's a nice. If you were to ask me what my favourite shot in the episode was, it would be the shot of Bill and the Doctor in their swimsuits walking on the ice in the fog. With a nice long London landscape in the background, and I have to admit the setting, the design, and the lighting is really good in this episode. Speaking of lighting, those cool effects of the fish in the ice, circling their victims under the ice, that's actually a neat idea. And the underwater scene, that was a pretty good scene too. No dialogue, it's slow. I loved it. It's shown through visuals and expressions, and however I don't know if you noticed, I did notice that when the Doctor is sinking in the water, there's this one shot of him going down, and I can obviously tell it's a toy diver on a stick in the water, but still, it was a good scene. Also, as cool as it was, I have one question. How did Bill survive her attack? I mean, when you compare her to all the other people who just got sucked in the water, and Bill is still alive in one piece. But I'll keep that in mind. And why doesn't the creature kill them like he did with all the other characters? Speaking of which, now the bad. The villain, oh my god, Lord Sutcliffe. Oh, good actor, but yeah, he's a two-dimensional, stereotypical racist business villain. Whatever. He wants to move his empire forward. If word was out, he blows up the Thames. So sorry, but the one thing that was really interesting about his character was the pimple on his forehead. I'm just gonna call him this. He's a pantomime villain. He's not a real person. He's just somebody who's bad because he's bad. What is his plan? He has a circus on the Thames, since it was frozen to his advantage. He has the beast eat all the people to make fuel. Very Sweeney Todd, except with the machinery and fuel as well as pies. It's a pretty good plan, but watching it the second time, I did question if he blows up the ice and claim it as a firework accident, and then he says by spring it'll be a footnote in history. Okay, I guess it could be a reference to the Great Fire of London, but one question. If it did happen, and when spring does come, which could mean the ice would melt, and the creature could easily swim away if he was released, how would his business continue once it happens? I guess, and this is just a theory, the idea of dropping bodies into the water in spring surely, but the waves could possibly shiver under the water in the spring, and it would definitely attract people's attention. And of course, the best moment of the episode, and obviously people are using it as gifts, they're putting it everywhere. Just this one moment where Lord Sutcliffe just immediately just becomes a straight up bully racist to Bill, and then the Doctor literally punches him in the face, and I just thought, yeah, you teach that son of a bitch. Why did he need the kids? I'll get to the kids later, but watch the episode again and think to myself, how do the kids play into this? If we had a scene with him and the children, to make his orders, and then it might make sense, and maybe have a scene where the kids fight back, turn against him. But I'll get to the kids later. The dynamite... Okay, so his defeat, completely predictable. The dynamite blows up the chains, of course. The man runs on the ice, and just as the creature starts to break the ice, he finds the screwdriver, falls into the ice. And what villain would stand there instead of just running? What kind of villain would run on the ice just as they're about to crack? That is a stupid move. So yeah, the villain is pretty cliche. Good actor, but yeah, he's pretty much a one-dimensional character. And now for the wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey. We finally get an episode with good supporting characters. Yes, the Pie Man, good character. It was like watching a proper Russell T Davies supporting character. We've got the treasures who actually I thought they were kind of irrelevant in the episode at first. I completely forgot about them, but the character they talk to, the overseer, he's a nice character. He acts foolish, but he is intelligent. He's a god or a random person, I don't know, tricked into giving them information. Yeah, he was a nice character, and of course, the kids. Now, when I saw the promo pictures, which included the kids, I was definitely worried that it was going to be a bad episode. Because usually the kids are either going to be underused or be played by bad kid actors. But from the very start, they didn't. In fact, I actually like these kids. Kids running around, they're playing tricks, pickpockets. I thought myself, hey, yeah, I sort of thought, did we just run into Oliver Twist? We've got the one who's called Spider with the red hat, obviously a red shirt. Kitty, who's the leader. Dot is the cute girl, and oh man, I don't want to say anything bad because I think she's my favourite supporting character. I don't know why. I know she's cute, but yeah, it's kind of unused, but she's still a good character. And then there's this one girl called Harriet, and she, the first time she speaks, she's like, Kitty, where's Spider? I thought, nice acting, kid. And then there's this boy, Perry. he's underused, and they only he's only mentioned at the end, and obviously they are underused. And if the episode was more focused on them, this could have been a much better episode. The kids episode, and the kids get to live in the house. Apparently, the Lord's heir can't be a girl. That's a nice reference. Thank God it's not made a big deal about it. No sexism. Good. So they had to choose Perry, which is pretty much the reason he's there. But the thing is, I think if they took the kids out, it wouldn't make one bit of difference. I mean, they could have just went straight to the overseer and then meet Sutcliffe and then maybe add some more dynamics between the Doctor, Bill, and the villain. There's no clear overall view of the creature. But then again, I think it's better that way. I mean, even though it shows similarities towards the star whale from The Beast Below, where the beast is trapped in chains under the earth and is released at the end. So this creature has its fishes or lights attack those on the ice by noise. Which, that does work. They don't actually confirm whether it's an alien or not. In all honesty, I'm glad they didn't, because I'm not a historian myself, but I'm pretty sure they would have used other creatures around the world in their own use, referring to poetry. I mean, obviously it might be an alien, but then again, it could just be a creature that was raised or made on the Earth. I mean, we don't actually find out in it, because we don't actually see him teleport or anything like that. He just stays underwater. The giant fish in change, pretty predictable. We're going all Beast Below, Man Never Was, and Torchwood Meat, aren't we? This is one bit when the Doctor and Bill are underwater and they find the red hat, and I think it could have been better if they didn't have that flashback. I mean, we all know it's the kid's hat. Did we really need a flashback? You could have cut that out, and it still would have been more tensional, rather than "You're beautiful." Now, some people are going to compare this to The Beast Below or Kill the Moon, in which it has a giant creature under the earth, controlled by a higher authority, and it ends with the Doctor and the companion arguing about the idea of racism, human rights against different species, which then leads to them releasing the creature with no idea what might come after that. But the reason I think this episode is better, because of its setting, its surroundings. The episode is set in the 1910s or 1914 London. It works really well with its premise. The idea of comparing this scenario to a Victorian area where the weak and mean-spirited white-minded took higher authority control against those of a different race that actually happened makes more sense than a futuristic setting that may or may not happen. So the elements are done before, like Bill given the choice to choose, and the mention of racism and stepping on a butterfly, which is very Shakespeare code when you think about it. But I know, they're just nitpicks, and honestly, I think they were done pretty well. The direction in this episode is nicely done, but not as ravishing as the pilot episode, or as astonishing as Smile. That's probably due to the colour palette and the setting, even though it was probably done by a design team, which is nicely done. But overall, it was still nice to look at. But wait, Matt, what are you talking about? What about the ending? Well, here it is. So, the Doctor and Bill arrive home. Nardole comes in, which hang on a sec. If you're gonna use Matt Lucas as Nardole and he's gonna be the companion, he's kind of underused in these episodes so far. I mean, the pilot, he was fine, because, we do actually see him. But the last two episodes, he's only in one scene, which I don't mind. You can have him only have like one scene in each episode. I don't mind. Did you really have to have his name in the title sequence? I mean, we know he's a companion, but if you're not going to have a full episode with Bill and Nardole, then what's the point of keeping his name in the titles if it's only going to be about the Doctor and Bill, which I don't mind, but still. So anyway, Nardole returns, continuing from where we left off with him getting the tea in the previous episode, which I actually like. That is a nice bookend to where we left off. what I actually like is how Naldo's becoming a bit more a responsible, serious person. And he goes, "Oh no, no, Master, you shouldn't do that. This is naughty, sir. We need to talk." And here we go. When the ending started, we hear Matt Lucas sulking, and I thought, oh, hang on, is Naldo going to turn against the Doctor? This is getting pretty dark. But then it begins. The knocking begins. One word. Chills. What could be behind the door? I think Naldo might have given some clues. Like when he mentions maybe he knows what's behind the door. I'm pretty sure he knows what. I mean, of course he does. He's gardener. He knows what's behind the door. What do you think you know? What has he told you? Which might play in. He says something like, he may have a little friend now. He may be distracted, but as long as I'm here, you're going nowhere. And a lot of people are saying that the clue to what is behind the door it's 3 or 4 knockings. Was it 3 or 4? I don't know. And yeah, I kind of understand what they're saying, and if that is true, well, it might be good, but if what people think is behind the door, the twist is badly done. So what do I think is behind the door? Who knows? Theresa May? Nah, I'm kidding. Maybe it's a secret. Maybe there's something that's going to appear in the finale, or the Christmas special, or maybe Chibnall's series, something Gallifreyan, or maybe 2 specific characters. You know, him and her. Now for the conclusion. Whilst Thin Ice does have its flaws and scenes do drag, it's a solid episode. The setting is great. The Doctor and Bill are still as good as ever. The villain's plan, whilst it does have its flaws, it's a pretty interesting plan. This is a good historical setting episode since Series 5. So therefore, it looks like Series 10 is going very good so far. So therefore, I'm giving this episode 8 out of 10. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this review. Oh, and just a quick reminder. In case you haven't seen my Twitter feed, I have finally finished all of my scripts for my upcoming Doctor Who FA Series 2, and I still need some voices. There are plenty of roles for those of you who are interested. Please send me a direct private message either on this email or on my Twitter page. Also, those of you who know anyone who is a fan of Doctor Who, would like to take part, don't be afraid to let them know. Now, I need female voices for 2 important female characters who appear in at least 2 or 3 episodes. So can I please have a female voice actor please take part? Or, because I'm generous, if there's any males who are able to sound feminine or sound like a female, don't be afraid to give it a try. Now, for those of you who have agreed to take part of this episode, I need those voiceovers as soon as possible. So just send a private message of what role you were going for, and if you like for me to send over the scripts again, just in case you've lost them or anything like that, and send the voiceovers audio pieces as MP3 audio pieces on an email as soon as possible. Be sure to leave a comment, like, and share this video, and if you have seen the episode, what did you think about it? If you'd like to see more of my videos, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Let's rock.